after working with hundreds of women in leadership and entrepreneurship and seeing just as many closets, I've had countless conversations with women who feel confused about their wardrobe. They want to elevate. They want to get dressed with ease, and many of them think it should already be easy. And the truth is, it absolutely should be easy, and it can be easy. But first, we have to talk about a few important things when it comes to your mindset and your expectations around building a professional executive wardrobe. So, this video is going to be just a little bit different. Let's talk about why your expectations when it comes to professional executive clothes don't always match reality and what to do about it. I want to help you move away from certain mindsets and beliefs that might be holding you back from building a wardrobe that actually feels elevated and works for you. Hi, my name is Basia Richard, and I am a former celebrity stylist turned personal stylist, and for the past 15 years I've helped executives, directors, CEOs, and successful entrepreneurs walk in a room and immediately look like the woman in charge. And to help you get started, I created a free guide that shows how to build a polished, put-together work wardrobe without defaulting to the usual black suits and gray dresses, and you will find the link below. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first and most important thing is that we all have certain expectations when it comes to clothes, especially when we spend a good amount of money. So expectations around, the quality, the design, the fabric, fit, and sizing. And I completely understand where you're coming from. So when you spend, $300, $400, $500 on a blazer, your expectation is that it should be made perfectly, it should fit you like a glove, that the fabric should be absolutely beautiful and luxurious, and the sizing should be correct. But what you have to understand is the clothes are unfortunately not custom made. So whether you're paying like $100 for a blazer or like $1,000 for a blazer, now to understand this, you have to really think about how clothes are actually made. So for example, a brand designs a blazer, okay? That blazer might be, for example, a single-breasted, regular fit blazer. The brand will create a sample and pattern for that piece. So let's say the sample size for the size 4 US has 15 inches in shoulders, 34.5 inches in chest, 27 in waist, and 37 inches in hips. From that one sample, then they scale the measurements across sizes. So for sizes 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and so on. Those measurements expand slightly, and the blazer may also get a little bit longer. So imagine you are size 4, and the blazer fits you well in the shoulders, waist, hips, but your chest is much larger than the measurements that the brand designed for. That blazer is probably not going to perfectly fit you, right? And the reason is that the brand designs for the masses. They designs based on sample and average proportions, meaning they estimate how many women will fall within those measurements for each size. They cannot basically take every individual body proportions into consideration because they have to produce and sell clothes at scale. So they design based on average measurements. If one of your measurements falls outside of what that garment was designed for, you will most likely need alterations to make it work, right? This is very common, especially for women who have, let's say, fuller hips, for example, and smaller waist. The garment may fit in a waist, but be too tight in the hips and the back. For me, it's actually the opposite. Things fit really well around my hips, my butt, but they feel very tight around my midsection because I carry more weight there. So again, you have to remember that brands design clothes for the masses. That includes mid-range brands like Veronica Beard, Cezanne, Max Mara, and many others. And they all work from average measurements for each size. Now, once you understand this, shopping becomes much easier, and here is why. You have to always fit the largest part of your body first. So for example, if you have a fuller hips or thighs, you need to fit that area first. So if the waist is loose, you simply alter the waist, and now you have a beautiful pair of pants that actually fits you properly, okay? One more thing that absolutely drives me bonkers. Every time I hear someone say, like, I found a great pair of pants, but they are too long. I honestly literally want to roll my eyes. You cannot expect pants to fit you exactly to the inch. The most important thing is that they fit you properly in the waist, hips, legs. If they are too long, you just alter them to the length that you want, whether you plan to wear them with flats or with heels, right? Pants being too long is completely normal and something you should expect. And those types of alterations, usually cost, I don't know, $20, $30, $40, obviously depending on your location. So the next expectation is quality and fabric. Now we are living in completely different times than we were 20 years ago. And I remember, when Zara first appeared, and I was still living in Poland at the time, and I think, if I remember correctly, I was still in high school, was something completely new, because suddenly there was a brand carrying trendy, cool, clothes at relatively affordable prices and changing their collections very often. So what happened over time is that our perception changed, right? Because we started buying more and buying cheaper. And unfortunately, a lot of brands took advantage of that. So instead of, creating a beautiful blazer from this beautiful wool, which would be much more expensive, they started making them from polyester, which is essentially plastic, right? So instead of creating, proper darts and constructions and choosing beautiful luxurious fabrics that follow your body and create beautiful fits, many brands just cut costs and production and finishes fabrics and designs. And this has started to change somewhat in recent years compared to even, I would say, 5 years ago, because people are becoming more aware of, investing in quality. Many of my clients specifically don't, shop fast fashion anymore. They try to stay away from brands like, I would say, like Banana Republic, Gap, J. Crew, and many others that, produce large quantities of mass-produced pieces that they try to, be more conscious about how they shop and what they invest in, and really, checking the quality of what they actually buy. So things are shifting, but many brands are still taking advantage of consumers because producing cheaper clothes still. And that's because there's still a lot of demand for it, the demand to own more, the demand to replace clothes faster, the demand to constantly have the newest pieces. And this is also what services like Stitch Fix are built on. They send you a box every week or month filled with brand new inexpensive polyester pieces and market it as the easy solution for shopping without spending time searching, right? But what that really does is pushing, high consumption. So you end up buying more clothes, lower quality clothes, and replacing them faster. And the big reason this works is because many people still don't have enough education around fabric quality and fit when it comes to clothing. So another thing that we have to keep in mind is that brands are not consistent, even within the same brand. So you can buy 2 different pairs of pants from the same brand, and one might fit you like a glove, right? While the other one doesn't fit you at all. That usually comes down to a few different things. So first, the fit of those pieces might be different. So one pair might be slimmer fit with a tapered leg and like a higher waist, while the other might be wider or more relaxed, which will naturally fit differently on your body. Now, the second thing is fabric. Now, 2 pairs of pants from the same brand usually is made from completely different fabrics. So some Fabrics have stretch, some don't, and that alone can also change how the garment feels and fits on your body. So when something doesn't fit, it's not always about quality or inconsistency. A lot of times it simply comes down to the cut of the garment and whether that particular style works for your body. Within one brand, you can find wide leg pants, narrow, slim, oversized, baggy, or pleated styles, and they are not going to fit the same way. So for example, pleated pants will naturally sit and move differently compared to, let's say, slim pants, which are designed to be much more fitted and narrow. And this is something that you have to keep in mind when shopping. It's important to understand which silhouettes work for you, for your body, to pay attention to the fabric and whatever it has stretch, and also to observe how that garment actually sits on a model so you can get a better idea of the overall shape of that piece. And that takes me to the next part, which is testing. Now, I know this is something many women don't like, and unfortunately testing and trying different pants, tops, jackets, blazers is one of the best ways to figure out what actually fits you well. And of course, this becomes much easier if you already understand your body shape and which silhouettes work best for you. And this is something I work with my clients, whether we are inside the Dress for Impact program or we're working together one-on-one. And because once we know what works for their body, we can eliminate a lot of silhouettes that we already know won't fit them well. But if you're in a situation where you don't know yet, then testing, once again, testing and trying different silhouettes is the best thing that you can do. That said, even if pleated pants from one brand fit you perfectly, the same style from another brand might not. And again, there's nothing wrong with the brand or with those pants. It simply comes down to the cut of the garment, the fabric, how the pleats sit on your body, or even something like the rise. Maybe they are mid-rise instead of high-rise, and that's not the best fit for you. So what I always recommend is to test. And even when it comes to expectations, if you order, let's say 10 pairs of pants and you keep 2 or 3, I actually, think that's a great result, because from that process you can start learning why those pants worked for you and how are they made. Do they have stretch? What is it about the cut that fits your body well? So instead of feeling discouraged that you ordered 10 pairs of pants and only 3 worked, you have to adjust your expectations, especially if you are still figuring out which silhouettes actually works best for your body. And the last thing is your expectations when it comes to shopping online. Now, I know that for someone who doesn't have trained eye, it can be, very difficult to shop online and know what you should actually be looking for. Now, a lot of times there are small mistakes that actually brand makes when presenting their clothes online. And many of those things you can see, but you need to know where to look. Everything from how the clothes fit the model, to how the fabric actually moves on the model, to overall shape of the garment. And you also have to keep in mind, obviously, that they are selling the clothes. So the goal is always to present them in the best possible way. Now, before I started styling celebrities and later working with women in leadership and entrepreneurship, actually I worked with many brands styling models for their online stores. And the things we did behind the scene would be honestly surprising to you. Pinning garments in the back, pulling excess fabrics, adjusting pieces so they look perfect in a photo. A lot goes in making clothes look their best in those images. So when you shop online, start by paying attention to how the clothes actually fit the model. For example, if she's wearing pants with high heels and the pants are still hitting the floor. Unless you're 5'11" and wearing heels, those pants will probably be too long for you. Now, if the crotch is drooping or very low, that often means the pants are designed for like the higher waisted, but they are fitting looser on a model, which means that they may sit even higher on your waist. Now, if a blazer already looks boxy on a model, it will look most likely even more boxy on you. Now, I would also recommend checking the fabric content and paying attention to the details of how the garment is presented. Now, many cheaper pieces already look inexpensive on a model, and you can usually see that even without years of experience. Now, if something doesn't look particularly good on a model, it's very unlikely that it will suddenly look absolutely amazing when it arrives at your door. So what I would say is just to keep an open mind. There is a great clothes out there for you. So if you keep all those things in mind, you understand that the fit is not always going to be perfect right away. The process becomes much easier. The most important thing is that your body is perfect. You're not the problem. We simply have to find the silhouettes that flatter you the most. And if you find an amazing blazer or a great pair of pants and they need like a small adjustments, just alter them. You know, it's really not a big deal. Now, if pants are too long, it's, actually much better than they are too short, right? Because the length is easy to fix. So allow yourself to experiment and test as much as you can, because that is really the only way to find pieces that are perfect fit for your style, your image, and for your body. So now you know exactly what to keep in mind to have your expectations in place when it comes to shopping for professional clothes. If you want to learn more, I work with clients inside the Dress for Impact program or one-on-one, and more information you're going to find in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.